I thought he could erase me from his life, but he didn't know I was the reason his world would crumble tonight. For 10 years, I had been married to Mark. 10 years of laughter, dreams, and shared lives. I had loved him with every ounce of my heart, trusted him completely, and believed he felt the same. But life has a cruel way of teaching you lessons you never expected. The first cracks appeared in the smallest of ways. A dinner he suddenly forgot, a work trip he had never mentioned. Little things I had dismissed before now gnawed at me. Then came the phone. Mark had always been protective of it, but now he guarded it like it held the fate of the universe. Notifications popped up, then vanished. Messages he called work-related seemed too intimate, too familiar. I tried to ignore it. I told myself I was imagining things, but deep down, a quiet voice whispered the truth. Something was wrong. It happened one rainy Thursday afternoon. I had gone to meet a friend at a small cafe downtown, hoping to distract myself. I wasn't expecting him to be there, but he was. And he wasn't alone. Across from him sat Claire, his coworker, the woman I had thought was harmlessly flirtatious. She laughed at his joke, leaned toward him and gently brushed his arm. Then he kissed her, softly, casually, intimately. My coffee slipped from my hands. My chest tightened, a hollow ache filling me. I felt like the ground beneath me had vanished. That night, I confronted him. My voice quivered. "How could you do this to me? After everything?" He looked at me calmly, almost chillingly. "You've changed," he said. "Claire understands me. She makes me happy." Happy. The word echoed in my ears, cutting deeper than any insult. I had given everything, my heart, my trust, my life, and it wasn't enough. Divorce followed. Within 3 months, we were legally separated. Mark moved on immediately, flaunting his new life, vacations with Claire, photos of expensive dinners, laughter that was no longer mine to hear. And I stayed silent. I poured myself into rebuilding my life, healing, rediscovering myself outside the shadow of a man who had betrayed me. Slowly, I remembered who I was, who I wanted to be. Friends noticed the change. I smiled more, laughed more. The darkness receded. Then it arrived. The envelope, thick, glossy, and intimidating. Mark and Claire's wedding invitation. I stared at it for hours. Part of me wanted to burn it. Part of me wanted to ignore it entirely. But a quiet fire whispered, "You need to see this. You need to watch the life he thinks he has won." The months leading up to the wedding were a mixture of anticipation and dread. I prepared mentally, emotionally, and physically. I wanted to be composed, graceful. I wasn't going to cry, shout, or beg for justice. I wanted the truth to speak for itself. I remembered our years together, the laughter, the long talks, the small arguments, the shared dreams, and I felt a surge of strength. Mark had underestimated me. He didn't know I was more resilient than he imagined. The night came. I arrived quietly, dressed in black, hair pinned back, expression calm. The hall was magnificent. Crystal chandeliers reflected soft light onto white roses scattered across the floor. Guests laughed and mingled, unaware of the storm about to unfold. Mark stood at the altar with Claire, his chest puffed with pride, his smile confident. She was radiant in her gown, the picture of perfection. I took a seat in the back, observing, silent, unnoticed. The speeches began. Claire's best friend spoke first, recounting memories, praising her charm, her beauty, her luck in finding Mark. Mark's brother followed, telling stories, congratulating the couple. The hall buzzed with happiness, but I knew better. Appearances were deceiving. And then the moment that would change everything approached. The unexpected guest. Mr. Lawson, Mark's former boss, stepped up to the microphone. The silence was palpable. Everyone leaned in. 2 years ago, he continued, Mark nearly lost his job. He was being reckless, meeting someone he shouldn't have been meeting during work hours. The only reason he kept that job was because of her, the woman sitting over there. He pointed at me. Gasps echoed. Claire froze, confusion spreading across her face. Mark's face turned as pale as the walls behind him. She saved his career, Mr. Lawson said. She pleaded, she covered for him, she supported him, even while he betrayed her, and she deserves to be recognized tonight. The hall was silent, the kind of silence that speaks louder than any shouting could. Guests whispered among themselves. Claire confronted Mark, trembling. Is that true? Mark had no answer. I stood, calm, composed, no tears, no anger, just truth, and it felt sweeter than any revenge I could have planned. I walked out into the cool night air, freedom wrapped around me like a cloak. For the first time in years, I felt whole. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to humiliate them further. The truth had done it for me. The anticipation of the wedding was a storm building inside me. I spent weeks preparing, not just in appearance, but mentally. I needed to be strong, silent, composed. The night of the wedding arrived. I entered quietly, noticing every detail, the flowers, the chandeliers, the laughter. Mark looked smug at the altar. Claire's gown shimmered in the light. Their friends, family, coworkers, all oblivious to the secret storm I carried. I found a seat at the back, my presence unnoticed. I observed them, the way Mark smiled, how Claire leaned toward him, the whispers of friends celebrating. Everything seemed perfect, until it wasn't. The speeches began. Toasts, memories, laughs. Claire's friends praised her. Mark's brother recounted stories. The hall buzzed with excitement, but my eyes never left Mark. I watched him with the patience of someone who knew the truth. Then came the moment that changed everything. Mr. Lawson, Mark's former boss, took the microphone. The chatter died instantly. Mark's face tightened. Claire's confidence faltered. I wasn't planning to speak tonight, Mr. Lawson said, but sometimes the truth cannot remain silent. He paused, scanning the hall. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating. 2 years ago, Mark nearly lost his job. He was careless, meeting someone he shouldn't have been meeting during work hours. The only reason he kept his job was because of her, the woman sitting over there. He pointed directly at me. Gasps and whispers erupted. Claire's face drained of color. Mark's jaw dropped. She saved his career, Mr. Lawson continued. She pleaded for him, covered for him, and supported him, even while he betrayed her. And she deserves to be recognized tonight. The room shifted. Guests whispered. Claire confronted Mark. Is that true? She demanded. He opened his mouth and closed it. No words came. I stood silently, calm, unshaken. No tears, no screaming. The truth had done all the work. The wedding reception fell apart. Guests whispered and left early. Claire confronted Mark repeatedly, demanding answers. Mark could only stand there, powerless, humiliated. I left the hall quietly. Outside, the cool night air felt lighter than it had in years. I felt free, whole, strong. I didn't need revenge. The truth had spoken. Sometimes life has a way of giving people exactly what they deserve, and sometimes all it takes is patience, courage, and letting the truth speak for itself.